For Best Music Coach, my name is Dan, and you're watching a music teacher's reaction, obviously live and in real time, to the Ace Combat 7 Skies Unknown original soundtrack. I've never played this game before. I've never heard this music before. This is part 3, and we're gonna just jump straight in. I've never heard this music before, and anything I say and do is gonna be off the top of my head in the moment. And here we go. We're gonna start with Magic Spear 1. There we go. And we'll be ending today with the UAV factory. First of all, this drum groove is insane. Okay, come on. Massive brass hits. So much going on. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's the same thing we heard the opera singer doing, right? Or similar. The mix is insane. Okay, so a couple thoughts. Number one, love the busy parts. And what we're starting to see now is we're actually starting to see parts that we've heard come back in like that. Like the strings we're doing. But like, man, at times there's so much going on in the mix. And after the food metaphors from part 2, I perhaps have a more accurate food metaphor than the sauce of an Italian pasta, and that would be a gumbo. Indeed, so much going on in these mixes. Now, it's interesting to hear, if you are into mixing and production, how the mix is set up ahead of time for that to happen. What you'll notice is that when the instruments first come in, there's holes sort of missing in the mix where you can hear there's middle end, low middle end that just isn't there. Like the guitar was up here, and it was all like high, there wasn't a lot of low end to it. Just a little bit, very great guitar sound. But the point was, it was leaving that space for those big horn hits to come in. And then everything came together to leave so much space for all the incredible elements to come into this. It's very, very busy and very, very awesome. This is what it's called, Magic Spear 2. Oh, goodness. We get a part 2? Let's go. So like strings now on top of those horn hits. Oh, phasing it in? Oh, this is sick. Oh, this is sick. Also, that bass coming in now, doing things. I'm still phasing through. Oh, come on, please give us a drop. Maybe one more cycle? Drop it now? Nope. Ooh. That first boo-da-dee-down, that's from Pink Floyd. Huh. Little like Studio 54 funk string hit right there. So I think what's interesting is to compare Magic Spear 1 and Magic Spear 2 to each other, because in Magic Spear 1, things felt a little bit more relaxed. Everything was kind of pulled out a little bit longer, had a little bit more room to breathe. And yeah, there were some more busy parts in it at times. If I'm recalling correctly, and I'm not conflating with Magic Spear 2 that we just heard, we almost had like a pop song. Like we sort of had the like Joe Satriani style thing with the guitar sort of playing this pop melody over the chords. Whereas in Magic Spear 2, this really felt more probably in the game like combat or something going on, where there's a little bit more excitement, feels like there's higher stakes, everything's a little shorter, there's more tension. Tension's really the word. All right, this next one is called Werewolf. Oh. Huh. Oh, listen to those topples right here. But again, there's so much going on. It's like a gumbo. Now building, amping up the stakes as the strings go higher. Maybe one more. Oh, yeah, that little dive there off that note. Fascinating. Huh. Again, using that sort of phasing sound here on groups of instruments. Huh. This is really fascinating. This is like when you're swimming and your head keeps coming up above water. Huh. Turns out in this mission you dive under enemy radar. Thanks, chat. Manfree and Mistral. So much going on. Wild guitar sound. And it's like the B flat in it in the guitar sound. Huh. Steven. We wouldn't make it to the end of the song. Let alone the end of the disc, let alone the end of the soundtrack. Oh, fascinating. Okay. So, a couple things. Number one, all right, in my personal opinion, there was actually too much going on there because it was actually almost impossible to hear everything that's going on. And I will tell you from personal experience, when I have produced music and I tried to make it this busy, look, what happened, and I'll tell you my experience. My experience was like I was trying to make it sound bigger. I was trying to make it sound badder. I was trying to make it, just like sound like cooler, fuller, more energy. What ends up happening is you put everything in, and then what happens is that with music, you have a set volume. Things physically cannot go louder, otherwise they start to distort. And because there's that set volume, you can't just keep adding things and it sounds more powerful. It starts to just sound more full, more dense. And at a certain point, it's like, okay, we could kind of hear the tablas, but like we couldn't really hear the tabla. One other thing I want to point out that was really, really cool is like the... Who writes a guitar part like that? By the way, I'm not sure if the guitarist was playing, because it was so full, I'm not sure if the guitarist was playing a C and a B flat up the top. Possibly it was C, D, B flat. Also possibly it was C, F, B flat. And I am honestly not sure. I could hear the C, I could hear the B flat. But wow, I mean, really dense, a lot going in. And that guitar part right there, I gotta tell you, is super original. I've never, ever in my life heard anything like that, ever, hands down. All right, this next one is called LRSSG Debriefing I. Ooh. Interesting bass. Again, interesting piece of music. I said this in part 2, but I'm going to say it again here, and I have a feeling I may say this again in part 3, which is today, and possibly in part 4, which will be next time, which is that, wow, so impressive the range of genres and styles used by the composer that they're expressing themselves in. This next one is called King of the Heavens. Oh, beautiful. Huh. This is like that David Guetta song. Well, it was for a second. Dangerous, I was thinking of. Oh my goodness, that. Oh my goodness. Oh, the sound quality on this one's so much better, too. Oh, my goodness. Oh! Hear that rumble in your left ear? Wow. That was dramatic. I mean, drama. I think, yeah. Also, could you guys hear the difference in the sound quality on that one? It sounded like a little bit bigger, sounded a little clearer, sounded a little bit more spaced out. It could just be, and we're listening from YouTube right now, it could just be a difference in the upload. But wow, the difference on that. Also, like in Magic Spear 1 and 2, it sounded to me like the brass was VST or a plug-in instrument, whereas that brass right there sounded to me either like a sample or like recorded live. Okay, this next one is called Battle for Farbanti. Oh, cool. A little C to D action there for the E minor, a little flat 6, flat 7 coming back to 1. Interesting little just descending natural minor scale there. Or perhaps it's a descending second half. A classical melodic minor scale. Ooh. Just kidding. Music theory joke. Oh, modulation up a fifth. sus4. Bring it down. There we go. Oh! 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 Down the whole step. Now, I tuned my guitar, but maybe this song's slightly away from A440. I could be wrong though. Ah, just seems like my guitar fell out of tune that fast. Okay. Well, that was a fascinating piece, not only because of the modulations there. So basically what happened is we took all the chords and then jumped them up by a fifth, brought them down by a whole step. So it went from E minor to B minor to A minor, and then we kind of futzed around in... I forget what happened after that. But anyway, fascinating that it jumped around that much. Let's check out this next one, which is called Soul Squadron. Soul spelled S-O-L like sun. So like Sun Squadron. With lyrics. Let's do this thing. Protect us who are thanking for this thrifty life. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I don't know about that translation either, Manfred Gordon. Some of that kick building. Oh, love it. Love it. That second guitar in there, building it up. Now 4 guitars. Oh, now a lot of things happening. So at least the high part of the acoustic bass, string bass, is mixed all the way to the right. And then we had that descending gesture in the strings we had a couple songs ago. There it is, fully there. Bonko, 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 bonko. Building the tension with those repeated hits. Now the strings are moving. Guitars are still chunking away. Huh. Got back to C sharp. Wow. Those sounds like airplane noises. Or there might be synth noises there. Okay, so some thoughts here. That descending line we heard originally a couple songs ago that was like... Now here we heard, I think it was... And it starts off as... or something like that. And then it goes the full descending natural minor scale. I think interestingly too, we had that modulation where it starts off in like C sharp minor and then it changes. And then of course the instrumentation and the arrangement of how it starts off with like one guitar, then two guitars, then all of a sudden it's four guitars. And then whoom, the whole thing comes in sick and delicious. Oh, it's Vivaldi. Oh, you think that's is that winter or is that autumn? You think that's from the Quattro Stagioni from the Four Seasons? This one is called Offline. Again with the bass. Oh my goodness. Oh, summer. David. It's been a while since I listened to summer. Everyone knows spring. Ooh, listen to this thing going back and forth between your ears. About to head into a U2 song. Now what's interesting here is that the groove and the rhythm and the tempo is still like that sort of Western thing we've been hearing. But obviously without those dobro guitars, as of yet. So quite a few of the sounds we're hearing from the guitar in your left ear are called harmonics. I'll break those down for you in a minute. Okay, so let's actually understand a little bit of what those sounds are. So whenever you hear those kind of glassy sounds coming from the guitar, that's because what's happening is the guitar player is playing a string, then very gently touching it in certain places to get different notes out of it. Charge, if you will. Okay, this next one is called Last Hope. Wow, this percussion. That's sort of like really fascinating sound. And even here, what interesting percussion sounds. We also heard this line before in the soundtrack. And with delicious movements by the lower instruments going up by a half step, whereas the violins are going up by a minor third. Or 3 half steps. We keep a 1-to-1 comparison here. And under this is buried a 1 flat 6 flat 7 chord progression, that very common minor chord progression. Tons going on here, very dense. So when we can hear in this song and the last song is that, okay, in parts 1 and 2, we heard a lot of this sort of like, or whatever it is. Yeah, kind of like, again, and I'm not caricaturizing it, but like that Bon Jovi thing of like Dead or Alive. And that dobro sound and everything going on. And at that tempo where it's like, and I might be pushing it there too. And so what we're hearing is that in parts 1 and 2, we had this sort of Western thing with the dobro, this kind of wanted Dead or Alive sound. And I'm going to use Dead or Alive because it's a common pop song that a lot of people know. And then what we started to hear here in part 3 is the similar idea of this Dead or Alive thing in the sense that it's slow. It's the same key. We're hearing the same rhythmic ideas, but the instruments are changing, and we're not actually getting the guitar and the dobro in the same way. So, yeah, really cool there. To have that connection where we can hear the composer is still sort of hanging on to the same idea, but wrapping it in a very different, present wrapping. If you imagine, I could give you a toy car, and I could wrap it in balloon wrapping paper. It's like it's still a toy. You still understand it's a toy. It looks like a toy car, but the wrapping paper is different. And then I could give you a toy car wrapped in wrapping paper that was covered with like rainbows and unicorns, right? Either way it looks, for like the outside, like the edges, the outline, looks like a toy car. I mean, I'm assuming I'm wrapping it tightly. It's not in a box. Yeah. But like, you understand the point. It's like it's a similar idea, but it's dressed up in a different way. Okay, this next one is called Last Hope, or did we just listen to Last Hope? Last Hope 2. So the Tao says, makes sense. The story takes a big turnaround as part of the game with musical presentation of all songs. Yeah, okay, makes sense. Oh, fascinating. Very different presentation here with this sort of ride cymbal thing going on. Same James Bond-esque. And again, it's not James Bond, but this string thing doing this chromatic and descending and ascending gesture with a lot more reverb this time, if I'm not mistaken. And here this idea again, where, okay, it's like everyone's on a D, bass moves to E flat, high strings move to F. Huh. I want to break 2 ideas down. But yeah, after this. Okay. All right, so I want to break down 2 ideas. First of all, I love that ride. I love me a good ride cymbal. Okay, so here's the first idea. First idea is we have the strings, all right, up here. On D, we have the bass on the D down below. Now this idea changes to... Oh, now, Lord help me. Ah! There's a reason why composers use pianos a lot of time, not the guitar, because sometimes they do stuff like that on the guitar. It's a little tricky. But the point is essentially that you have this idea of going on in the bass and then above it, which I just found fascinating. On D, going up to F while the bass only goes up to an E flat. Like, what? Wild. Okay, this next one is called Tyler Island. Again with delicious bass on some of these, man. It's not done. What a fascinating piece of music. This must be a cutscene or something. We just moved from one place to another. Huh. Oh, that same melodic gestures. A very interesting two-part piece, a cutscene. Chat confirmed it was a cutscene. Very interesting to hear that first part to the second part. People are saying no and R.I.P. and things. So I'm assuming, unfortunately, something passed away. And sure enough, that was very sad music. Following what sounded sort of like a heart in your chest type of a moment thing. All right, this next one is called LRSSG Briefing II. These stacked fists that we heard all the way back in disc 1. Ooh, changing there. Very airy. Interesting for it being a I don't know. I just found it to be interesting for briefing music. I would think briefing music was like more straight to the point and things, but like there's this softness that those airy type sounds bring to this that I find to be very interesting. This one is called Homeward. Oh. Oh. Oh, fascinating bass line coming in here. Oh, listen to what's coming now. Playing again with the pulse here. A beautiful piece of music. I got a little distracted. I thought of a really fun thing to ask chat, which is a poll, which the options are if anyone here is a licensed pilot, if anyone here is working on the license, if anyone here loves flying, if anyone here hates flying. And I think we're going to find some very fun answers. Okay, this next one is called Supply Ship. Look at all you can do with one note, man. One note. One note. Oh my goodness, I have no idea what's about to happen. Then I love the actual little F sharp creeping in there, that major third. Love that F sharp coming in there. It's like just a moment of here it's major. There it is again. Huh. I feel like we're leading to something because we have a lot of repetition now. Okay, so I think what's interesting too is if we distill a lot of what was happening in the chords, you know what we end up with? Which I'm 80% certain I just played correctly, and 20% maybe, which is, of course, is Lose Yourself by Eminem. Okay. Yes, there's Mom Spaghetti on the sweater already. There's vomit on the sweater already. Mom Spaghetti has never stood on the surface. He's calm and ready to drop bombs, but he keeps on forgetting when it goes on. Okay, it was louder than his mouth when it'll come out. Yes. Okay, this next one is called Lost Kingdom. Let's do it. The laser on this Arsenal bird already. Excellent, David. Interesting. So this sounds different than a lot of what we've been hearing so far through these 3 parts here. Oh, very Stranger Things, not Stranger Things. What's that show with David Duchovny? X-Files. Huh. Ooh. Oh. Oh. Huh. Oh, bass coming in now? Oh, cool. All right. Sweet. Huh. Oh, fascinating. Oh, this is so cool. So listen how this whole thing is building. It's taking a long time to build. Wonder what part's going to come in next. So we're only halfway through the song, so let's hear how it builds from here and what changes. building out, things happening in the base. Okay, I have some things to point out about this. Oh, beautiful 6 there. Is that a 6? So I'm gonna start pointing some stuff out here. So this is like a little busy going on here, but it is nothing like as busy as what we were hearing a couple songs ago, where I was like, man, there is a lot going on in here. So I think what's interesting, I'm not sure if this is the same composer or if this composer is pulling inspiration from something else. But what we've heard before, this is, I think, possibly one of the first times we've heard that this composer actually break things down in this way, where it was like one idea, the next idea, the next thing, and it was few enough elements that you could really keep track of what all of it was going. And when I say keep track, what I don't mean is that you have to be more or less talented with your ears in terms of your critical listening skills. What I simply mean is that if you have 20 people talking to you at the same time, yeah, you might be able to pick out what one person is saying, but like, honestly, the human mind at a certain point starts to lose information. And so I think what's interesting is this is the first composition we've heard where it's really, you hear all the parts separated out in such a way that even when it did get a little busy towards the end, we had heard all those elements pretty much before, and then it was just bringing all them back, which sure was the same way those really, really dense tracks were constructed as well, where we'd hear element 1, element 2, but then by the end, it's like element 2, 3, 4, all together at the same time. But the way this came in was not busy. It was like, here's my friend Bob, here's my friend Jim, this is my friend Jane, and this is John. He's my boss at work. And like, you meet all of them and you get to know all of them really well one at a time without a bunch of other people talking at you at the same time. That's what this song was like. So, or piece, I should say. So very interesting to hear this different approach and attitude towards this piece that I don't think we've heard before on the soundtrack. This next one is called Archange. 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 It'd be Archangel, I think, in French. All right, check it out. Archangel. Again, with the thrifty life. Frugalum, so frugal. Agimus, right. Vitam. Vitam frugalum. Grant us the perpetual goods. No, grant us perpetual good. Right? Bona? Perpetua bona? Ooh. Fascinating transition out from that Gregorian chant into these strings. With brass now. Oh, this is so cool. I love the play between the kick drum and the vocal line. One, two, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ah, wasn't quite. Almost could count this 4/4 from over there. What is this? What? Gosh, what song is this like this? Oh, the Duel of the Fates, isn't it? Yeah, Star Wars Duel of the Fates. Whatever they're saying. Hey, yeah, so let's actually talk about why we can know for sure. Yeah, that was sick. Let's talk about how we can know for sure that that was actually 7/8 and not 7/4. So the reason why we know for sure that that is 7/8 is because when you compare the cycles of 7 to where the drums were sitting, Duel of the Flights, very good, Phantom of the Night. When we compare the actual count, those cycles of 7 to where the drums are sitting, they were essentially holding eighth notes to the drums in rock and in pop and in blues and funk. The drums, the kick drum and the snare drum, at their most basic, when we sort of make it the most simple, they're holding quarter notes. They're holding 1, 2, and 3, and 4. So when we hear the cycle of 7 happening inside of those Fate of the Bumblebee, very good, Jeffy. Hey, Jeffy Patazaki, well done. If anyone has any more song puns, please keep them going. This is brilliant. Very interesting to hear that, yes, indeed, 7/8, most definitely not 7/4, because you wouldn't have the drums be in halftime. Plus, those cycles were going so quickly. Certainly eighth notes. Okay, let's listen to this next one, which is called King's Fall. It's that same sort of Western Dead or Alive tempo here. Kings of Leon Fall. Okay, David, I see you. That's what I mean, like it's that same feeling. As this is going to be our last song for today. This is called The UAV Factory. A little bit of a disconnect here in the pulse. Fascinating. Interesting having the separation, which you heard before with the guitars in disc 2. Excuse me. Again. Oh. Fascinating. We're going to wind it a little bit. Listen to this again. Yes, Jappy. It's not over. An interesting way to end the piece. So what I want to go back and listen to is I want to show you what I mean by these strings sort of being, I'm saying off, but it's off in the sense that 95% of the time, maybe. I'm 85% confident that 95% of the time, things are not off like this. Early. It's like they're a little early. Fascinating playing with the time like that, which we actually did here, I believe back in disc 1 or disc 2 with the guitars that were live and the composer was playing with the time just like that. So hey, we're gonna read some super chats now. Thank y'all for hanging out. Please hit like, subscribe, and crush that notification bell so you know when the next stream is gonna be. Thank you all so much for hanging out. Rubberman202 says this one's going to Mother 3. Kind of a shame that after this insane push you got after Earthbound OST reaction, it looks like people are gonna wait a little long for Mother 3 at this rate. Yes, perhaps. But today's the last day for voting, so we'll see. The next 5 are gonna go up right after this. Gamer Squiddy. Remember 5 months Kazoo Club. Thanks for hanging out, Squiddy. Trylighting. Trylighting says, hey Dan, it's been a while since I last donated. Thank you for this awesome community here and on Discord. Let's get this La Mulana reaction at some point. You got it, Trylighting. Komradski says, you already know it. Still gonna say it though. Ace Combat Zero. You got it. Pikachu says, Pika Pika, Pika Pika Pika. Pika, 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 pika. Which translated into English means, since it came out on all platforms, I'd like to upvote Persona 5 Royale. You got it, Pika. The Memed says, put the Deep Rock Galactic OST on the list. You won't be disappointed. You got it, the Memed. The Memed. The Memed. The Memed. I'm trying. Andreas, 6 months at Kazoo Club. Thanks for hanging out, Andreas. Trylighting, best supporters ever for 7 months. Trylighting, thank you so much for your support. Thank you also for hanging out and being a mod here and also on Discord. Much appreciated. T-Mac1313 says Mother 3 with a smiley face. You got it, T-Mac. And DanVar249 says this one goes for my first ever video game and one of the greatest strategy games of all time, Command & Conquer Red Alert 2. You got it, Danvar. DNM says, put this towards Kingdom Hearts 2, my good sir. You have got it, DNM. And Weirdness Unfolds. Hey, Weirdness. Weirdness says, so good soundtrack. This goes to Fire Emblem 3 Houses. You got it. Well, thank you so much to everyone who watched. Thank you. Thank you especially to everyone who is a subscriber. And thank you especially to everyone who super chatted and who are members. Thank you so much for your support. Please hit like, subscribe, crush that notification bell, and I'm going to leave the chat up for 30 more seconds if you want to upvote something else. Because today's going to be it's going to go up. I'm going to leave it 30 seconds. And then we're all going to go do fun things. Like eat lunch. Lunch sounds good, doesn't it? All right. Okay. Well, that's going to be about that. All right, y'all. I will see you in the next one. Take care. Please hit like, subscribe, and crush that notification bell. See ya.